Hey, welcome to What's That All About? This is sort of a quick one. I wanted to touch on this only because it's a topic that is constantly on like the History Channel and Ancient Aliens and all these other things. I think I'm going to be bursting some bubbles though, and feel like I need to apologize ahead of time. So, the title of this, honestly, it kind of says it all. It's The Lost City of Atlantis, No Sail. So you can probably guess that I am not in the camp of believing that Atlantis ever existed. Hear me out. I'll make it quick. I promise. Quick and painless, okay? Um okay. Here's my case against it. Most historians and scientists throughout history have come to the conclusion that Plato's account of the lost kingdom of Atlantis was fictional. According to this argument, the Greek philosopher invented Atlantis as his version of an ideal civilization and intended the story of its demise to be a cautionary tale of the gods punishing human hubris. Okay, it's a lesson story. Yay! We all love lessons. No written records of Atlantis exist outside of Plato's dialogues. Okay, including in any of the numerous texts, and there are so many, as you know, of Plato's work. But none of them. It's ironic that the only place that these survived was in his dialogues about Atlantis. Okay. Furthermore, despite modern advances in oceanography and ocean mapping, no trace of such a sunken civilization's ever been found. If you really dig deep and look inside yourself, you will believe that that's actually a true fact, right? I mean, on any special you've ever watched where they claim to have found something that could be the lost city of Atlantis, it never is. Just saying. Okay. Another theory against the existence of Atlantis is that it simply is a retelling, a little bit more colorfully, of the Black Sea flood. Not sure if you ever heard of that, but it's inspired by an actual historical event, which was the breaching of the Bosporus by the Mediterranean Sea and subsequent flooding of the Black Sea around 5600 BC. At the time, the Black Sea was a freshwater lake about half the current size it is now. And the flooding inundated civilizations known to flourish along the shores with hundreds of feet of seawater in a short time. They say it could have been even in less than a year, which is unbelievable. But its inhabitants of the region scattered, they spread tales of the flood, and as I've described to you before, history has a way of embellishing things and making them more, a grander or a more significant um, event than was actually happening. So, what happened was thousands of years later, Plato told the story of this historical fact, but he just twisted it a little bit to add his personal touches. Another fact to understand in all this is that our plate tectonics demonstrate that Atlantis is impossible. As the continents have drifted, the seafloor has spread over time, not contracted. So there simply would be no place for Atlantis to have sunk into. Um, a professor of archaeology by the name of Ken Fetter noted that the geology is clear. There could have been no large land surface that then sunk in the area where Plato claims that it would have. Atlantis, together with modern archaeology and geology, it just provides an unambiguous verdict. There was no Atlantis continent, and there was no great civilization called Atlantis. The legend has been kept alive mostly. It's fueled by public's imagination and honestly just the desire to hope that something like that at one time existed. Be honest, our world is such a disaster right now that it's like, why would you want to take something away that's so beautiful, that could possibly have been so beautiful and idealistic and utopian and all this? But yet the lost city of Atlantis was never lost, because all it was the imagination of a great philosopher, his words, his thoughts, not his facts. Okay? Now, interesting side notes. The famous psychic Edgar Cayce, okay, in the 1920s, he he had a lot of fundamentalist Christian views, and he put a lot of that into his sights, or what do you call them, the psychic visions. So he added quite the spin on Atlantis. Okay, he gave psychic readings for thousands of people, and he also claimed that many of them had already existed before in Atlantis, which unfortunately none of that information was verified, and Cayce was wrong about so many things. He actually predicted that the continent would be found in 1969. How'd that go? No. Plato told the story of Atlantis, even mentioning in his dialogues as a warning. Like I said before, he meant it to show the calamities and victories in his version of an ideal society. He told the tale to express the way in which a civilization should be built by describing the way one can fail. So he's really just trying, it really is like almost like a textbook, a school book. Like he's trying to teach people who possibly don't usually listen. And maybe if he made this fantastical story of the rich and the more powerful people would be more inclined to hear his words, and maybe his point would land. Plato went so far as to describe Atlantis as an island continent larger than Libya and Asia combined. You're getting what I'm coming from, right? Anyway, historians as well as oceanographers have noted if Atlantis was real and had somehow sunk, it absolutely 100% unequivocally would have been discovered by now. So I am really sorry if this upsets a bunch of people. It really wasn't my intention, but I wanted to do this topic only because it's done a lot out there, and I feel like it's just people aren't speaking the real truth about it. And I don't lie, as you know. So anyway, until next time, I'm going to wrap it up because I'm sure that I've pissed off enough people. I hope you are staying happy and healthy, and stay weird, and take care. Bye.